2 matches on top of here. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's nice to see all of you here this evening, and those of you who are joining us online. It is a somewhat gray day, but at least it's making the green that we can see outside pop a little bit more, so that's nice. That spring is just around the corner, about here, hopefully, and we'll get some more warm weather hopefully soon. So on this Shabbat, let's draw on the warmth of our community, and hopefully that will bring us into some warmth. So we will go ahead and begin our services this evening with Ma Yafeh Hayom on page 10.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll turn back to page 9 for a reading together at the bottom. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. And before we go to candles, I also just wanted to say it's a joy and a pleasure to have Mark with us this evening to help lead services. So,
Thank you.
yeah. And I'd love to call up David and Abby Nash for our candle blessing. We are on pages 3 and 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
And we turn now to page 14, and we'll read together. We'll read responsively at the top. Sing to Adonai a new song. Sing to Adonai all the earth. Sing to Adonai, bless God's name. Proclaim God's victory day after day. Tell of God's glory among the nations, God's wondrous deeds among all peoples. For Adonai is great and much acclaimed. God is held in awe by all divine beings. All the gods of the peoples are mere idols, but Adonai makes the heavens. Glory and majesty are before God. Strength and splendor are in God's temple.
Let the heavens rejoice and the earth exult. Let the sea and all within it thunder. The fields and everything in them exalt. Then shall all the trees of the forest shout for joy at the presence of Adonai, for God is coming. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly, and its people in faithfulness.
We'll turn now to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Okay?
Are those the verses you have?
Sure.
Which verses were you planning to do?
How about one?
Huh?
Yeah, we're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do whichever ones you were planning to do.
Excellent. One.
Okay, we'll do verse 1.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabla.
We'll turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem. There is a story that on Shabbat, there are two angels that walk with each person. They go from the synagogue to their home, walking them in to welcome in the peace of Shabbat into their homes. So we will say these words of Shalom Aleichem on page 24. We'll read responsively. Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
Enter in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
Bless me with peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
Depart in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
We'll continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Bialmad yivrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayekon u'v'yomekon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, u'vizman kariv v'yimeru. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'el amol me'almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, Vayitpa'ar, Vayitromam, Vayitnaseh, Vayitadar, Vayitale, Vayitalal, Shemeda Kudashah, Leila min kol birchata vashirata, tushbechata vanechemata, damiran bialma vayimeru.
Amen. We stand for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu, on page 28.
Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 la lai 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 la 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 lai 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 lai. Lai la la lai 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 la la lai 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 la la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach leolam vaed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach leolam vaed.
We'll continue on page 30 with Ma'ariv Aravim in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, uvkumenu na'asiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'oreg amenu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue with the watchword of our faith, the Shema, on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivtecha beveitecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshachbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam, liot al yadecha vahayu, letotafot beinenecha, uftavtam, al mizuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. L'man tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem, me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem, Emet. And we'll turn to page 39 and read responsively at the top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
Wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness,
that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We'll continue with Micha Mocha.
Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai, yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, micha mocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Adonai yimloch leolam ve'avad ed. Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh.
We turn to these words of Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu is a prayer that is traditionally said after the bedtime Shema. It is a prayer that is said at a time when things are a little bit uncertain. We're not sure how we're going to make it through the night, and a lot of the worries that come up at the end of the day are things we're thinking about. So Hashkivenu is a prayer that we say asking God for God's sheltering presence to be with us and to keep us through the night at a time when it could be a little restless, a little uncertain. So we'll say these words together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Hapore Sukat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. We will turn to page 44 for Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beni uven bnei Yisrael oti leolam leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashevi Shabbat vayi nafash.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not water a parched field, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise for the tefillah on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot Va'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibur leolam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol ata rav lahoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somek noflim verofeh cholim. Umatir asurim, kayem emunato, lishenei afar, micha mocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umachayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selha, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We'll turn to the top of page 55 May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promises. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We'll turn to page 57. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayers. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We'll turn to the top of page 59 and read together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We'll turn to page 64, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
And with that message of peace on our lips, we turn to Misha Berach, a prayer asking for that same root, peace, shalom, shalem, wholeness. We're asking for wholeness of body, of mind, and of spirit for those in our community who need our prayers. At this moment, our community is thinking of Shandal Bat Frida Malka, Julie Borikoff, Margot Raz, Carol Dubin, Samsara Vizcaya, Sharon Rotman, Bob Radke, Lyle Rubel, Mark Cook, Moshe Ben Nechama, Jean Bass, Alan Turner, Steve Toplinski, Myron Dvorkin, Esther Cohen, Lisa Furstad, Terry Finch, Harav Ilana Miriam Bat Chava, Faye Levin, Sarah Rachel Bat Yocheved Alexander, Tia Barrett, Wendy Salzberg, Steve Plotkin, Kathy Peltz, Avram Ben Naftali, Emma Edmax, Doug Cruz, Nadiva Sarah Batliba, Carol Rovner, David Goldstein, Marilyn Harmon, Chris St. Martin, Ellen Futterman, Barry Bursack, Debbie Kelly, Janet Meister, Ahuva Yocheved Bat Chaim Vilea, Susan Sack, Reza Tzvia Bat Shena Etta, Mary Frankowitz, Sophia Rubenstein, Ilana Himmelfarb, Chris Gould, Charmaine Hayden, Wendy Wiviet, Sue Weller, Andrew Messerman, Kate Wilson, Marlene Marks, Yocheved Bat Rundel V'chaim, Walter Shapiro, Otto Feller, Avraham Bat Frida, Marla Chakowski, Michael Sachek, Dave Rotter, Helene Wallenberg, Peter Becker, Mark Cook, Natalie Cohen, Steve Isaacson, Alice Green, Yaakov Peck, Ann Becker, Elaine Keller, and Josh Hirsch. If there are those that you are thinking of, I invite you to hold their names in your hearts as we turn to page 253 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a moment now for silent meditation for the words and prayers that are on your hearts.
Yehiul ratzon imrefi v'hegion libi lifanecha Adonai tzuri v'go'ali. Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oh, say Aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Ve'al Kol Yisrael Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
In a small town in Eastern Europe lived a nice man with a nasty problem. He talked too much about other people. He couldn't help himself. Whenever he heard a story about someone he knew, and sometimes about someone he did not know, he just had to tell it to his friends. He loved the attention he got and was delighted when they laughed at his stories, which he sometimes embellished with little details to make them funnier. Other than that, he was a really pleasant, good-hearted man. He knew Lashon Hara, talking badly about other people, was wrong, but it was too tempting. And in any case, most of what he told had really happened, didn't it? Many of his stories were just innocent and entertaining, weren't they? One day, he found out something strange, but true, about another businessman in town. He immediately shared it with his colleagues, who told it to the people they knew, who told it to their families, who told their friends, who told the people they knew, and their neighbors. It went around town till the unhappy businessman heard the story about himself. He ran to the rabbi of the town and wailed and complained he was ruined. Nobody would ever talk to him after this. His good name and his reputation were gone with the wind. Now, this rabbi knew her congregants, and she decided to summon the man who loved to tell stories. If he was not the one who had started them, he might at least know who did. When the nice man with the nasty problem heard from the rabbi how devastated his colleague was, he felt truly sorry. He honestly did not think it was a big deal to tell this story because it was true. The rabbi could check it out if she wanted. The rabbi sighed. True, not true, that really makes no difference. You just cannot tell stories about people. This is all Lashon Hara, slander, and it's like murder. You kill a person's reputation. She said a lot more, and the man who started the rumor now felt really bad and really sorry. What can I do to make it undone? He sobbed. I will do anything you say, Rabbi. The rabbi looked at him. Do you have any feather pillows in your home? Rabbi, I have 1,000,000 feather pillows, but what do you want me to do, sell them? No, said the rabbi, just bring me one. The man was mystified, but he returned a bit later to the rabbi's study with a nice fluffy pillow under his arm. The rabbi opened the window and handed him a knife. Cut the pillow open. But Rabbi, here in your study, it will make a complete mess. Do as I say. And the man cut the pillow. A cloud of feathers came out. They landed on the chairs and on the bookcase, on the clock. They floated over the table and into the teacups, on the rabbi and on the man, and a lot of them flew out that window in a big, swirling, whirling trail. The rabbi waited 10 minutes. Then she ordered the man, now, bring back all of the feathers and stuff them back in your pillow. All of them, mind you, not one may be missing. The man stared in disbelief at the rabbi. That's impossible, Rabbi. The ones here in the room I might get, most of them, but the ones that flew out the window are gone. Rabbi, I can't do this, and you know it. "Yes," said the rabbi and nodded gravely. That is how it is. Once a rumor, a gossipy story, a secret leaves your mouth, you do not know where it ends up. It flies on the wings of the wind, and you can never get it back. She ordered the man to deeply apologize to the person about whom he had spread the rumor. That was difficult and painful, but it was the least he could do. She ordered him to apologize to the people to whom he had told the story, making them accomplices in the nasty Lashon Hara game. And she ordered him to diligently study the laws concerning Lashon Hara every day for an entire year, and then come back to her. So that is what the man did. And not only did he study about Lashon Hara, he talked about the importance of guarding your tongue to all of his friends and colleagues. And in the end, he was able to overcome his nasty problem. We see versions of this story play out all the time. Someone shares details of another's life, true or not, and their reputation is ruined. It's even easier from behind a keyboard, not looking in a person's face to share ugly stories, just typing a few short lines, clicking a button, and boom, it's out there. And it doesn't stop at one community. Everyone can see it. Even if you have different privacy settings, all it takes is one person to screenshot your words and pass it along to their friends, who pass it along to theirs, who pass it along to their families. You get the point. More often than we would like, harmful content goes viral. People share words of violence, targeting individuals. They harass others who have different points of view, religion, race, or gender than them. Just this week, a colleague of mine, Rabbi Daniel Bogard, was the target of harassment, including threats of violence and death, for his activism opposing anti-transgender legislation in the state of Missouri. Many of the threats came over Twitter. Since 2008, Twitter has worked to increase moderation of its users' content. It started with one employee hired to combat abuse on the platform, and now there are hundreds of staff dedicated to moderation and safety. According to a New York Times article, many Twitter employees feel personally invested in the company's effort to encourage healthy conversation, even if they do not directly work on content moderation. And they've pressed executives to crack down further on hate speech and misinformation. On Monday, Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, signed a contract to buy Twitter for $44 billion. He's a self-described free speech absolutist. He advocates for a near erasure of the moderation policies currently in place, which ban content like violent threats and harassment. The platform has other guardrails too, like a prohibition on misinformation related to COVID-19. If Mr. Musk guts the moderation policies of Twitter, make no mistake, we will see a huge uptick in hate speech, misinformation, and harassment. Employees said they worried that he would undo the years of work they had put into cleaning up the toxic corners of the platform. What does Jewish tradition have to say about all of this? The Talmud is an ancient, cleaned-up version of Twitter. It codifies the arguments of rabbis discussing Jewish law and theological concerns. It certainly supports the concept of a marketplace for ideas. It includes not only the victor's opinion, but preserves those of the minority opinion. But the Talmud is not without limits. It's comfortable regulating what it considers harmful speech. In fact, in Jewish tradition, we have several passages that speak out against Lashon Hara, evil speech. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16, we read, Lo telech rachil be'amecha. The Torah Women's Commentary translates this as, do not deal basely with members of your people. It notes that the corresponding Hebrew word rachil is also associated with gossip, the misuse of speech. In this particular context, the Torah teaches that unfair accusations and rumors may have dire consequences, just like the feather pillow story. In the Talmud, Tractate Baba Metzia 58b, this statement is upgraded to more challenging consequences. Anyone who humiliates another in public, it is as though he were spilling blood. It seems then that Jewish tradition supports Twitter's efforts to moderate user interactions, taking down violent threats, misinformation, and harassment. It seems as though Elon Musk's proposal to remove all of those moderations is not in line with Jewish tradition. So what do we do now that Twitter is already not the greatest? We have some problems with how it's shaping up to be in the future, should Elon Musk actually buy it. The deal was signed, but we have yet to see if he puts up the capital for it. At this point, it seems it's on the Twitter employees up until the moment the contract goes into effect. But after that, moderation will be on the users. So it will be up to us to attempt to moderate our fellow humans, to ask them to be kind and generous and not ugly towards other people, for us to be sure to be aware of violent content that's sure to come, of anti-Semitism that will go unchecked, and to keep the safety of our friends and family at our forefront. I hope that you will take these words, and if you're on Twitter, just know in the coming months that it might get ugly, but it's up to us to attempt to clean it up, because we are all responsible for one another. Shabbat Shalom. We will begin to conclude our service with Aleinu on the bottom of page 282. We rise as a community, and it's my honor to call up Brent and Linda as our ark openers.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us. Though their physical presence is with us no more, we feel them in our hearts and in our minds, in our thoughts and our loving words, and they guide us each and every day. At this time, Congregation Shalom commemorates the lives during the period of Shiva of Noah Arnold, Ronald Cohn, Adeline Domnitz, Cecilia Rinsky, and Cyril Newman. And during the period of Shloshim, Rosalie Baumberger, Harriet Dizak, Jordan Fishman, Lorraine Mitz, and John Veal. We also commemorate the lives during the period of Yahrzeit for Philip Abrams, Marvin Arnold, Mildred Sakarni Asbel, Sarah Barron, Martin Bernstein, Phyllis Kohler, Blackwell, Arlene Bloom, Lena Cohen, Rose Kaplan, Esther Emanuel, Faye Federley, Irving Gartenberg, Virginia Gimbel, Judy Ginsburg, Bertha Ginsburg, Phyllis Grant, Beryl A. Harris, Herman Hinden, Robert L. Hurwitz, Rachel Inselberg, Carol Kagelman, Bernard Keller, David Levine, Rose Lukach, Joseph Mantell, Monroe Marks, Sarah Cole Mazur, Alice Morin, Pearl Olswang, Saul Rapkin, Eleanor Robinson, Bennett Rosenberg, Renee Sadowski, Ben Safer, Ann Sager, Samuel Sinagub, Tracy Jo Sweet, Iva Teplin, Catherine Wahlberg, Ann Wayne, and Bonnie Wise. If there are those who you're thinking of who you would like to share with our community or names that I mispronounced, please feel free to share them aloud with us as my eyes meet yours. In addition to those that we are holding in our hearts, we think of those who have lost their lives due to the terror in Israel, as well as those who've lost their lives due to the war in Ukraine, all those who lost their lives during the Shoah, the Holocaust, and those who no longer have anyone to say Kaddish for them. We turn to these words of Kaddish Yatom on page 294 and rise as a community. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, V'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and together we say, Amen. You may be seated. I'd like to call up Brent Arnold again to give our announcements on this Shabbat evening.
Thank you, Rabbi. Wonderful service tonight. And also thank you, Mark Cohen, for blessing us with your melodies this evening and making our service much more harmonious. Appreciate it very much. Well, I hope you all are enjoying your Shabbat tonight. I brought Shabbat in today with my first round of golf for the season. Experiencing nature, peace, and serenity again really was nice. I also kind of impressed myself with some pretty good shots, I must admit. So I look forward to having our Gary Paler Memorial Shalom golf outing on June 26th at Songbird Golf Club to help benefit our school's education programming. It's also going to be a wonderful event. I want to thank again everyone who was involved last week in our Tikkun Olam Shabbat service. A lot of great work went into making it so successful, and it was good to see our congregants stepping up to make change in our community. I look forward to making many more partnership opportunities with COLE, which is the Coalition of Lead Emergency, and other great organizations that are working hard and hand in hand to improve Milwaukee for everybody. It was also really nice to see a bunch of our congregants attend the Bay Bridge program on Wednesday evening called Mapping Racism in Milwaukee. There's a lot going on with this initiative, and it's nice to see that our congregants really do care. Our 2021 Championship Shalom softball team is still getting ready to take the field. I understand that they're still pumping Torahs, doing Torah lifts to get back into baseball shape. So please reach out to Jason Markey if you're interested in joining the softball team this year. Our confirmation trip left today for New York City. I can't wait to hear all about the Jewish essentials that our students will experience in the big city. They're there all weekend, and I think they get back mid next week? When is it? Sunday. Okay, so it's a quick trip. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing that. There's a lot going on this month, this coming month in May here at Congregation Shalom as we wrap up our religious school year. Next Friday, May 6th, will be our third grade family service where the students will celebrate their Siyum HaSefer and get their very own prayer books. There's also a third grade family dinner as well as another great Oneg Shabbat, so I hope to see you guys all at that. Then on May 15th will be our Sunday religious school pancake breakfast. Then on Sunday, May 22nd, will be the last day of the school year with a family learning day as well as a concert. Also, on May 20th, we get to celebrate the installation of our very own Rabbi Pizlowski. It's very due, so we're excited for that. I know that your family will be joining us from Kansas City, and it will be a really special night. So I hope you guys can join us for that. And then next month, on June 24th, we look forward to the installation of our magnificent Cantor Purpur. Another really special event that you will not want to miss. Lastly, don't forget all about our weekly Minyan services, as well as Saturday's Torah study and Shabbat service, and Thursday's What's New. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you find your peace and serenity this Shabbos weekend.
Shabbat Shalom, Brent. Thank you so much. We will go ahead and move to page 5 and rise for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. delicious. You may be seated. We will conclude our services this evening with Adon Olam on page 321.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hoveh Vehu Yiyeh Betifara Vehu Echad Ve'en Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Velo Ha'oz Ve'hamizra Vehu Eli Ve'chai Goali Ve'tzur Chevli B'yetzara Vehu Nisi Umasnos Li Menat Kosi Beyom Mekra Beyado Afkid Ruchi B'eit Ishan Ve'ahira Ve'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai Ve'lo Ira.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.